Ubisoft shoots down delaying Star Wars Outlaws over widespread graphics complaints. The level of quality of the world and the experience is really very high. So before I even read into this, what I'm going to say is, as I said when I pulled this article up, Soup, thanks for that previous article, by the way. I don't think it's quite Y2K Part 2 Pro, but nice reference. I think personally, if this is just gamers crying because they don't feel like the game looks as good as they want it to, get wrecked. Okay? Get wrecked. Because the thing that really truly matters here is that when this game comes out, it performs well on all the platforms that it comes out on, and that the content's good. And, you know, obviously, if the graphical fidelity is solid on top of that, that's a cherry on top. But let me tell people something, and I will stick to this every single flippin' day, every minute, every second of every day. You can't enjoy what a game looks like if it performs poorly. And why would you want to enjoy what a game looks like if the content's trash? So the first things you should be worried about is the game going to perform? And then, is the content good? Then you can worry about, does it look good enough for you? Okay? So, now, I don't know what this is going to say yet, and I'm going to read it in a moment. If they're just complaining about what the game looks like as far as in the realm of graphical fidelity, get wrecked. I don't care. As long as it performs well and the content's good and the game's fun. You know what I mean? If it's in the realm of the graphical, there's graphical issues of like weird bugginess or the graphical performance of the game is janky and not performing well or whatever, that is performance issues, and I will have an issue with that. And the game does need to be delayed on that front. So, I'm going to read this, we're going to find out and see, but if it's just people griping because they don't feel like the game looks good enough or whatever, I will tell you to get wrecked every single day. Ubisoft shoots down delaying Star Wars Outlaws over widespread graphics complaints. The level of quality of the world and the experience is really very high. So look, this is one of the things about Ubisoft too, is they are one of these big companies that has an issue with listening to their player base also, okay? So I do think it's very appropriate for companies, I don't care what size you are, to listen to your player base, your fan base, your consumer base. Because the more open you are to taking feedback into consideration about how you're moving forward with your projects, the more likely you are to be producing products that your consumer base is going to enjoy, and overall people are going to want to buy and purchase and enjoy for the long haul, okay? That is tried and true. And a lot of these big companies don't give a hot crap anymore. They don't want to listen to us. They don't want to listen to the people that play the games. They don't want to listen to people that buy the games. They don't want they don't want the game to be critiqued. They don't want to listen to what we have to say about what we think the game should or should not have or anything like that, right? They just do what they want to do. And that doesn't always, usually actually play that well, right? So, and I'll give you a perfect example of something here with one of the recent quotes, and one of the reasons that I have this highlighted here. The level of quality of the world and the experience is really very high. You can't trust Ubisoft when they say stuff like this. Quotes coming out of Ubisoft, you can't trust them. What was one of the more recent quotes that we got out of Ubisoft? Do you remember? From Skull and Bones. whenever they were releasing that game after a decade-long development and roughly 8 to 9 delays, and then it was supposed to be a live service game made for the long haul, and then they were releasing at a $70 price point with a ton of monetization in it. And then we had the CEO, Yves Guillemot, being quoted as saying, well, this is a quadruple A game, and of course it deserves a $70 price tag. That game's mediocre at best, you know? So you can't trust Ubisoft and what they're quoted as saying either, you know? Let's read about this. After an outpouring of negative comments surrounding Star Wars Outlaws graphics, Ubisoft has said it won't delay the open world game, and it's confident that people will love it. Earlier this month, IGN debuted 10 minutes of brand new gameplay for Star Wars Outlaws, seen in the video below. The video didn't go down well, with 13,000 dislikes compared to 8,000 likes. And the responses in the comments called out technical elements of the new Ubisoft game, like dropped frames, stuttering, and issues with ripples alongside sand dunes. This is performance issues. Okay? So while the title of this, and this is what I was worried about, talks about graphics complaints, right? What up, Reject? This is not just a graphic issue. This is performance. So this makes this sound like, the title of this article makes this sound like there's some kind of issue with the graphical fidelity people are having with the graphical fidelity. That's not. This is a performance issue, okay? And that's what I was worried about. So, drop frame, stuttering, issues with ripples along sand dunes. Quote, so we're going to ignore the frame drops and San Andreas-like explosions. One comment reads under the video with another adding, why do the graphics look so poor? And the particle effect to explosion and K's face, referencing Outlaws protagonist K. Vest. There wasn't a lot of love for the way Star Wars Outlaws looked, at least. Yeah. I'll link this if you guys want to watch. I think Soup already put it in there. I knew that this was going to reference the IGN stuff anyways. That's why I wasn't pulling up what you put in the chat, dude. But Soup already has it in there. Oh, flipping sad face, bro. I'm always here for you, brother. I mean, I can't help with that, but yeah. The negative comments were enough to garner the attention of a Bank of America analyst who asked Ubisoft leadership during a conference Q&A call earlier this week whether the company would consider delaying the game over the responses. The game has gone gold, so the date is well confirmed for August 30th, said Ubisoft Chief Financial Officer Frederic Duguay. We'll shortly be seeing more content of very high quality in multiple hours that will really show the depths of the open world that is a key element of the promise to enjoy the exploration of the galaxy with multiple planets. That should bode well for the game in terms of high quality delivery, the Ubisoft CFO said. Ubisoft is also confident about the final product's graphics. As we've said also for Star Wars, the level of quality of the world and the experience is really very high. Again, if anybody is trusting anything that Ubisoft says, you're out of your minds. Any company that's going to come out and defend a product like, you know, Skull and Bones and say it deserves a AAA price tag because it's a quadruple A game, they're out of their minds. You can't trust this company, okay? And look, I'll tell you, as far as Ubisoft is concerned, I have not been real thrilled with them for quite some time, but I think as of late, they've shown they're doing some things right again. You've got things like the Avatar adaptation, I think went over pretty well. I think they did. I didn't play it, but from what I've heard and seen, the game looks pretty good. They're doing a pretty bang-up job, I think, with bringing the Prince of Persia stuff back into the fold. Those games look pretty good. So I don't think everything's a loss here, but they've been having a lot of missteps for a long time. Yeah. And so it's not like they're back into the good graces of people or anything like that, right? Ubisoft Chief Executive Officer Yves Guillemot added, this is a quadruple A game. Sorry, I can't help myself. We're really leveraging our engine, and I think people will love it. This fool, I don't even think he knows a lick about what they're doing there. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. I don't think this dude knows. I think he's just probably out playing golf every single day or something. I don't think he actually has any idea. Games Radar recently went hands-on with Star Wars Outlaw and spoke to the developer Ubisoft Massive about how it crafted the open world game story, and there's links for that if you want it. But look, man, I think that, I've said this before for quite a while now. Ubisoft is one of those companies where I would never, ever currently, and I've been this way for a number of years now for them, I'll not buy one of their games on release. It won't happen. There's no way. I don't trust them. There's no trust in this company for me to buy a game on release. Definitely not pre-ordering or anything either. I think that this is a company where you have to wait until games come out. You see what the reviews are about. See how it's performing on the platform that you're looking to play their games on before you ever consider buying one of their titles. They've proved for way too long now that they're willing to push out subpar products at a premium price, and that's not the way this works. Whether it be subpar on the performance side, meaning the games weren't finished when they were pushed out, or subpar on the content side, meaning they didn't put enough time and effort into actually bringing us quality products that are worth the price tag they're pushing them out for, right? So that's my 2 cents. Take it or leave it. But would I be surprised to see Star Wars Outlaws come out and be baiting people? Another Star Wars game baiting people into buying it and have performance issues or subpar quality, and it just be baiting people because it's Star Wars and people love Star Wars. Not in the least. Look what Respawn's been doing. Now, I think the content of their games is good, but how can you even enjoy the content of their games when they perform like balls? Yeah, I'm ranty, but it's true.